Good night, everyone. Good evening to each and every one of you out there, wherever you may be. Susan Lopez, good night. Good night to you. Good evening, friends. Good evening, family. Barbara Allen, good evening. Anagira, good evening, my beloved sister. It's been a while. I haven't heard from you. I haven't heard from you. I haven't seen you in quite a bit. I hope you do good. The world's most handsome man. My brother, Uncle Eric. Uncle Tony, greetings. Good evening to you. Today is Wednesday the 13th, August the 13th. Good evening everyone. Today, Wednesday, August the 13th, 2025. A pleasant good night, good evening, good morning if you're there, if you're in China, Taiwan. Ramadana Lopez, good evening, good night to you, good night to you. Friends and family, I want to start off by, first of all, thank you all for joining. Thank you all for passing through to hang out, to be a part of this informative conversation that will happen tonight. I want to talk a little bit about a situation we are all facing. As technology advances, we're now able to do a lot more at a very, very fast pace. With artificial intelligence, AI, a lot of things will change. The world is moving fast. And if we don't pay attention, we will get left behind. I don't want this to sound as if though it's doom and gloom, because it is not. It's going to be doom and gloom for those who choose to remain ignorant of what's taking place, the reality or realities among or around us. We have great power with the internet, with social media. And as I hop on Facebook every now and again, the energy that a lot of people bring is toxic. When Facebook first started, I remember when Facebook first started, some of you in your 20s or early 20s, I don't think you know, remember. Just maybe. Anyway, when Facebook started, Facebook was designed in a way to have friends connect together, right? It's like you're at a social party. Picture this. You're at a social party. And everybody, you're having a cocktail, you're drinking your wine, you're having hors d'oeuvres. And whatever you say, all the people around you, imagine you go and get on a stage in that setting, and all the people around you, you're just talking, saying whatever you want to say. They're listening, they're right there listening. That's literally what Facebook is. When we post a video, it's almost like going on a stage while we're having this cocktail, this party, and display what it is that we're sharing in the midst of everyone. The only difference is that they're not physically there. Facebook could be a powerful tool. The internet could be a very, very powerful tool. But it could also be a weapon of mass distraction and destruction. Friends, brothers, sisters, we must be mindful of the way we behave one toward another. We must understand and accept that each and every one of us was created in the image and likeness of the Most High God. Unique. Each and every one of us were different. We don't think the same. We don't have the same desires. We're different. So, we also come with different thoughts. We also come with different ideas, different opinions. So when you go online, I want to take, for example, and please, this is not a rant. It's a sad state of affair. Take for instance, the KTV show. I honestly don't watch KTV, and it's not because I'm not fond of it. It's not because I don't want to. I really and truly just don't have the time. But occasionally I would go on Facebook and I would see different clips and see comments. And the comments that some people post targeting these individuals who take the time out to be brave, to develop the strength, and to kill that fear within them to get on that stage. That shit ain't easy. It's not easy. It's not easy. I don't even know if I could do it. I could feel comfortable sitting here in front of a camera talking to you guys. If you put a mic in my hand to make I start sing when I know I can't sing or I know I'm not a professional artist, it takes guts. It takes a lot. So it is crucial, it's critical that we keep this in mind. Let people go and have fun. Let them go and explore and experience their fullest potential. If you don't have the strength to do it, if you don't have the will, the desire to do it, then just enjoy. But don't go and negatively criticize. Don't go and say things that will make people feel bad. It is not productive. They say people where they hurt people. Jesus said, he who has no sin, cast the first stone. There's a lot of bitterness on Facebook. A lot of bitterness. As soon as one individual disagrees with another, it's time to lash out. It's time to hold an audience. And then we have people in the audience, we have those of you on the internet who connect with some people who you don't even know, and you just tolerate these behaviors. Toxic, aggressive, angry behaviors. Friends and family, brothers and sisters, we were all created in the image and likeness of the Most High God. We have feelings, we have families, we have sister, we have ma, brother, pa. None of us is perfect. We must learn to tolerate each other sometimes, especially if we're not violating each other's rights. Say something kind. Congratulate people, applaud them, encourage them. Encourage them. Encourage them. It saddens me it really saddens me when I see us ripping each other apart. You take it to a national level, you bring it to a local level where even Garifuna here in Dangriga find pleasure in just ripping each other apart. I see it every freaking day. Every day. I see it every day. It pains me. It troubles me. It actually brings tears to my eyes. Woe unto those who call good evil and who call evil good. Remember, each and every one of you, he who exalts himself will be humbled, and he who humbles himself will be exalted. Let's be kind one towards another. Let the words that proceed out of our mouth, let it bless instead of curse. Let's build up instead of tear down. There is too much happening in our midst, in our world. There is too much happening here in Dangriga. Too much for us to be dividing ourselves, fighting against each other. Tonight, my guest is Mr. Aaron Anderson. He is vying for the title of Caretaker for the United Democratic Party. I want to say I have Aaron in the waiting room virtually. My brother, I've seen you for some time, but I've known you for maybe months now, and you seem cool. And I like you. But I want to say unequivocally that this show is not an endorsement for those of you who might have your antennas up. This is going to be an educational conversation. My brother Aaron is going to share his vision, his plans, should he be elected caretaker for Dangriga, Sarawi, and Hope Creek. Aaron, good night, my brother. Welcome to Dangriga Unmuted. This is where we keep it real. This is where we speak truth to power. For our audience, kindly introduce yourself. Tell them about Aaron Anderson.
Good night. Good night. First of all, thanks for having me on the show tonight. It's been an interesting past few months, especially since we got to know each other on a more personal level. Try work with each other, try establish some good connections so that we could improve whatever aspect of the community that we could. We share a lot of the same visions, which I appreciate, and hopefully we get a chance to continue moving forward together. I will state also that yes, I am very well aware this is not an endorsement for anybody who would question it. I think it's only fair to be very clear about that, because this is our conversation. The result of this election could affect Dangriga one way or the other, and so it's important that everybody understand that we're just here trying to develop Dangriga, and everybody have their own ideas of how that could be. But the more you and I talk, the more we bounce ideas off each other, and things move. But for those who do not
Brother, I'm sorry, I want to pause for a bit. Folks, online, I can hear Aaron, but on my end, he seems to be very low. Let me know, am I the only one? Can you guys hear him clear enough? Please give me some feedback. Tell me, yes, you can hear him clear enough. On my end, he seems very low. Give me some feedback. Go ahead, Aaron.
All right. Again, for those of you who might not know who I am, Aaron Anderson from Dangriga Town. Start school at Solid Rock like most of it. Gone to 7 Days Adventist for a year, and then move over to Sacred Heart Ecumenical, Sixth Farm, and then continued studying outside of the country, and stayed in touch with the community so that I could make sure that whatever knowledge I gained, whatever assets that I gained, I could see how I could give back to my community where I grew up in. So in a nutshell, that is who Aaron Anderson is.
Now, for the for the benefit of our audience, tell us what's happening October 5th. Explain to us what it means to be a caretaker. What's happening October 5th?
October 5th will basically select a caretaker. Typically, the caretaker is someone that would be responsible to put an executive for the division back together. That's one of the first things. And again, that is an election in itself. It's not an appointed thing. I think far too long we've had the habit of that being an appointed system, or I'm not even sure when it gone to being appointed, but the Constitution of the United Democratic Party states that there is an election for that as well. And so that the first order of business, and it has to happen very quickly because we have a national convention that we have to prepare for. So beyond that, setting up the local party executive and delegates and whatnot, they're responsible for outreach into the community. Programs like youth development, women empowerment. We have our typical back to school drives that we should be looking after, Christmas events, Mother's Day, Father's Day, Easter, any social event that could help bring our community together. Mother's Day is huge, so is Christmas. But the bottom line is re-engaging with the community, making sure that you hear the concerns of the community. You don't just come up with your own agenda. You talk to your community and make sure that your face, your executive, everyone has their hands on the community so that we could all figure out what the concerns really are and how to move forward. So in short, that's the job of a caretaker, to make sure that all that is taking place.
Very good. Now, what makes you, why did you decide to run up for caretaker? This is a twofold question. Why did you decide to run up for caretaker? And do you intend to go beyond, for example, run up for mayoral candidate, run up for era representative?
I decided to run because I see a Dangriga that is not necessarily moving as smoothly
I
as it
want you
could.
to speak as loud as you can because I just received feedback from one of our viewers
All
saying
right.
that your voice is low. So just speak as loud as you can, please.
All right.
Or if you could adjust your microphone.
Yeah, I just did again. Hopefully that helps. But where was I? Oh, why did I decide to get into this convention? All
Mhm.
right, the reason I decided to engage is because I believe that Dangriga has seen better days, and we look at Dangriga, and I think many of us look for a solution within. But I am not necessarily sure that that's the only solution to bettering Dangriga. I feel like the cries for decades have been, we are the forgotten South. And I am not sure if some of our previous politicians mind that much. And I'm not going to say all, I'm saying some of them didn't really mind that we were forgotten, and some of them forgot us themselves. Um, this Dangriga affects all of us because that's our community. This is our home. This is home no matter what. And that's what we continue to come back to. If we go anyway, we come back home. So I see the potential where we have to get equal representation, and we have to look at ourselves as well to see how we can empower ourselves to take that step to fight and get that equal representation that we not only want but legally deserve. And so that's
Now,
one of the platforms I want to fight on.
sorry, you weren't finished. Go ahead.
I finish it right there.
Now, with the UDP's foundation being wobbly, for lack of a better word,
Mhm.
why now? Why now? Knowing that the UDP is still gasping for air.
Because at every level, it will take true good leadership to fix that gasp, to make us start breathing again. And as long as the opposition can start breathing or sail the ship again, then we could have a better opposition, a stronger voice that can actually hold this government accountable for all that they're doing. So, I definitely have no intention of running anywhere else but Dangriga if I do. And so I have to start by building up my local executive so that we can then fight for better representation nationally and then hold the government accountable.
For those of you online, you can also log on to Obafu TV on YouTube as well. If you want to put it on your smart TV, go to Obafu TV and search for Dangriga Unmuted. There is Earth, there is Richard Webster. Who else?
Simeon Lorenzo.
Simeon Lorenzo. I don't know Simeon Lorenzo. What makes you feel more qualified? What makes you think that you are the one above the other three?
Um, I believe that the experiences I've gained internationally has definitely helped to mold what can be mentality. Um, you never expect to see things moving backwards in a developing world. You started this show with saying things are moving fast, and if we don't catch up, we are get left behind. When you were talking about AI and technology and so on, so I see that with my educational background, with my just my overall mentality, the way I want to help, the way I want to grow, not myself, but a community. To grow oneself, you have to grow the community. You have to have a stable surrounding so that everybody could come up together. And that is one what I want to execute. And so why would I say I am more qualified? I don't necessarily want to say I am more qualified, because that might come across as undermining or undermining.
So let me say this. When I run in a convention, right, and I say this a lot, I'm not a politician. I'm not a career politician. I never decide that one day I will run up for anything political. But my interaction with he's now the current era rep, I saw something that was, in my opinion, dangerous for Dangriga. And I didn't see anybody who was taking the lead or who wanted to change that. I wouldn't have run, I wouldn't have signed up if someone who I believe in had run up. So for you, running for caretaker among Richard Webster, among Earth Lopez, and what's the other brother's name? Simeon Lorenzo. You must have known before you put your name that these individuals will likely be running, but you went and you run anyhow, which means that, you know, in reality, I think I could handle this better, not because the rest are not qualified, but you think you might be able to do a better job. So in that context, what are your strengths that you think they might not have?
That I think they might not have. I could speak of my strengths, and that would be stability. I have a very, very strong foundation. I have a support team around me that is unshakable. I have a go-get-it mentality. Nothing gets in my way when I want to accomplish something. And one of my deepest loves, ever since Adam picnic, Dangriga, if Dangriga could have appointed an ambassador, it may be me. Because the way I talk about Dangriga, that the way you talk about your babes when you're in high school, there's so much hope, so much potential, so much opportunity.
I'm listening, but I'm gonna see how I could adjust your audio from my end, because we're still getting feedback that your audio is low. And after this, I'm gonna go to the comments, because I saw an interesting comment that I'd like to share. Continue. I'm looking into his audio on my end, guys.
All right. So with all that said, I believe that passion that I have for Dangriga, for the people of Dangriga, all of us as one, will carry me through, because I, at the end of the day, have to live here too, and I want a society where we can all be proud, we can all have that civic pride, we can all develop for generations to come.
Now, Aaron, let me read this comment by this individual because it actually hit on a question that I have. Hams Flores, he says, reason Jerry Enriquez is fighting for redistricting. Without redistricting, we will never have equal representation. What is your take on redistricting, and should you become caretaker? Now, I do understand that caretaker is not the mayor, not the one that's going to be running for era rep, and you could probably give us more detail on that. But should you be elected as a leader, one in leadership position? And this is what I would also even ask the other individuals, Earth, Richard Webster, and the other brother. What will you do to make sure, or to at least play a role in promoting redistricting? Not only promoting redistricting, but to induce GOB to make sure, be it red or blue, to take care of it, that it's priority, that it's urgent. What would you do?
Mr. Enriquez, I think, is on the right path. What we have to do is jump on that lawsuit that's already in place. We can't have multiple lawsuits about the same topic. And what I believe is happening is Mr. Enriquez is being pushed to the side for political favors, and that's what it appears to be, by a legal system that is pro-government typically. An entire system that tends to be pro-government. And so we have to get behind that cause and look at how we can support that lawsuit already in place to get it as high up as possible, because he is absolutely correct. His
Why wait?
Never.
Why wait? Why wait to hold leadership position? Why wait to be elected before you fight? What are some things that you have done or are doing to let your voice be heard, to let others know about the importance of redistricting?
Internally, I have asked leadership members of the United Democratic Party, and right now we have conflict there, so it's kind of difficult. But I have asked that that topic be brought up continuously, because actually in 2015, I remember being told that my name was called in the Honorable House because I went on a rant about redistricting, because I from then believed that we deserve more representation. Actually before that, but it really got to move around that 2015-2016 time frame, and I have not feared to talk to anybody that I come across, from ex-prime ministers to anyone, that we deserve proper representation, and some of those Belize City constituencies need to merge and or disappear altogether, because once we hit, the majority of the country could go one way, and if Belize City goes the other, chances are that other will be leading the entire country, which is absolutely unfair to the rest of the population.
We have one of our members in the audience asking, who are you supporting, or who are you, well, yeah, they use the word support, Tracy or Shine?
I support the leader of the United Democratic Party. I have said this from day one.
Give name for those who are not acquainted, who don't know.
Right now,
who do you support, Tracy or Shine?
None. At this point, the elected leader of the United Democratic Party is Shine Barrow. So I have to say I support Shine Barrow. Do I understand that Mr. Barrow is moving out in November when we have elections? Yes, and I am ready to bring that new elected leader to government because that is the job that we are supposed to do. We are supposed to stand as one. And the question of who do you support, in my opinion, is exactly why we are so divided. If I look back from what was legally done, then we are left to believe that Honorable Panton was expelled from the party without due process and shouldn't have been. I am also left to understand that the then Honorable Barrow was the duly elected party leader and should stay that way until we hold convention. So because of the person that I am, that believes in the rule of law, that's why I support Shine Barrow until November 30th when that changes.
I'll tell you this.
I support the office, not the person.
I will tell you this. I'm sure that there are many out there who have a problem with. A lot of people have a problem with Shine.
Yep.
So because you're saying you support Shine, and I have to say I understand where you're coming from a legal perspective, or let me rephrase that, because I do not know the UDP constitution. I don't know the laws that surround how the UDP operates. So let me correct that. I think what you're trying to do is stick within the rules, right? And what I believe our audience are thinking is they're not seeing rules. I don't think they are seeing rules. They're seeing character. They're seeing behavior. They look at the character of a person that makes him or her a leader. I'm not painting Shine as a good character nor a bad character. I'm just from my vantage point, the way how I'm seeing things, especially for people out there. So for those who just not like what the ground where Shine stand pan, I think it's a disadvantage to you. But let me say this. What I think they're asking for, without the laws, without the constitution, character-wise, leader-wise, I mean, the question is vague, but that's what I'm interpreting, especially from the individuals that I've had conversations with. The first thing they say, oh, we don't like he to this, he to that, he to that. So nobody really watch the constitution or care about where the laws or the rules or who get expelled. Nobody to watch that. What they're watching is the character, right, of these leaders. That's what I'm assuming. And if I'm wrong, for those of you listening, please help me, give me some clarification, tell me you're straight. But in that light, who do you support?
That changes the question completely. You warned me that this will be a tough one. My response to that, honestly, is we have to stick with structure. If we don't stick within our structure, then we're going to lose what we have. We're definitely going to lose what we have. I will once again say that as of right now, I support Shine Barrow because that is what the structure, that is what a legal ruling from a Belizean court said that we should be doing. And as far as character, nobody perfect. We haven't necessarily seen what a Minister Shine Barrow could do. We've seen what a Minister Honorable Panton can do. And so it would be unfair for me to say that I support one over the other when we have seen what one can do but have not necessarily seen what the other can do. So again, I will stick to my response. I have to stick with the structure because structure is what's going to move us forward.
I like your response as to structure. You're absolutely right. Structure is key. We have to abide by rules. I'm saying this just in general. I am not a member of the United Democratic Party, so I speak in general. I'm going to change gears a bit. Let's talk about, let's take a look at jobs and opportunities for our youths.
All right. Got it.
How will you influence that?
Okay, I got that. First of all, you have to reach our youth at their most vulnerable points. You have to understand where and how to identify when a youth is at risk. And if you cannot identify that, then you will go through your day-to-day, month-to-month, year-to-year with not necessarily having a proper system and structure to engage these youths at their most vulnerable. So we have to have counseling support, and I know that could be challenging, especially with not necessarily having the amount of counselors we may need, but we definitely have a couple that can step in and help. So we have to start by doing that. We have to ensure that we are identifying at-risk youths and then put them in a situation where we are paying attention to what might be causing that risk and trying to deal with that risk through counseling, and then we can look at support. Through counseling, we could find what their strengths are, what their weaknesses are, what their opportunities are, what their threats are, and then we can approach each one of those individually, uniquely, with systemic processes that will then develop that one individual into maybe a student of general studies, or a student of the sciences, or a student of a technical trade, something like that. But to be honest, we cannot necessarily develop our youth until we understand the struggles that they're having. And so that's where I would like to even get this started.
Have you been doing anything at all in terms of jobs for youths before you consider, even thought about running for caretaker?
I have donated certain items to help different youth try to get little businesses on the ground. Simple things like fishing gear or weed whackers. I have done some sporting gear because a couple people, their passion was export, and we have to encourage that as well, because that's a great outlet, a positive outlet. And so it might not necessarily be a direct income source job, but an opportunity to something better. So yes, I have been doing work like that.
How do you feel about corruption in the election process?
I made it absolutely clear on a show last week that if I lose because I refuse to pay for a vote, I am okay with that. We have to value our voice more than a $50 or $100 bill. I will have zero tolerance, and if I hear any of my team members doing as such, I will distance myself.
Have you ever participated in election fraud?
Me personally have not. I personally have not.
Okay.
Am I aware of it? Have I seen it? Yes.
Have you made any effort to stop it?
I have always distanced myself from it. I have engaged those people that I have seen directly. And
now,
I definitely have always spoken against it.
Now, Dangriga is while we have a mixture of ethnicities in Dangriga, we have the Maya, we have the Mestizos. Dangriga is a Garifuna town. We affect tourism, the culture, the dance, the people, the culture on a whole. Do you have anything in mind for cultural activities to promote Garifuna Duo?
Definitely. The culture on its own is beautiful. We have so much to offer, and with my expertise being hospitality management, hospitality marketing, digital marketing, I have gone as far as offered to do free marketing for the town, because I believe that I can reach a demographic that is not yet being touched. I believe that when we talk about the culture capital, we do so because we have everything that we need, but tourism and our structured tourism takes them outside of our town, and we need to do something to bring them in. And I believe that that starts with the proper marketing. And when you have one or two hotels in town marketing, and then you have to compete with Hopkins and all the other surrounding major tourist spots, it gets kind of drawn out for Dangriga, and Dangriga then becomes a point where we just land a plane and the resorts pick their people up. Why not start to do that marketing locally and for Dangriga?
But what are we going to market and bring them into what? To do what?
We would have to look at tourism infrastructure. And quite honestly, I don't think that the infrastructural investment has ever truly happened in Dangriga to promote culturalism. And so we would have to work with different groups like NGC for one, any of the Maya groups that might want to join. We have to incorporate all, truly make Dangriga a cultural capital, and find a central location, a tourist destination per se, and then market that.
Okay, let me ask you a direct question. What do you think about the development out there in front of Sacred Heart and Sacred Heart School and Sacred Heart Church?
I asked one set of questions that I got blocked on Facebook for. I asked, who's going to be in charge of that development? Who are the people that's going to actually build up that development? Is it going to be local workers, or are we going to have to deal with laborers from outside of our local town? Who's going to manage it? How did they even get their land? I really want to know what's the land deal. Is it a Dangriga Town Board thing? Is it a BTB thing? Is it a Ministry of Tourism, or is it private? Make we tell the truth. I don't get none of the answers. If you have any, please make a note.
But have you actively been vocal about this type of situation as to what's happening out there?
Oh, yes.
Let's go to the comments for a bit. Brother Eric Castillo, Uncle Tony, he says, whenever we arrest and jail the first politician, the credibility of Belize will rise 90% worldwide. So will patriotism. Belizean, we are now 44 years. Stop selling your votes. I wholeheartedly agree with you, my dearest brother. And I want to share some thoughts on that in selling out our votes. Actually, first, whenever we arrest and jail the first politician. You know, what is sad about our country, what is sad about Belize, is that we have a group of individuals who we know. Karim Musa, we know his name, we know his face. Jane Brisenyo, we know his name, we know his face. Chris Koye, Henry Charles Usher, Louis Zabani, Ferguson, we know them. We know their faces. And we bulk them under this thing called the government of Belize. We lump them together and we don't hold them accountable. That is one of our main problems. Another problem is this. We are too politically divided. We are too politically divided. If you're a UDP, you're a UDP. You know, care how messed up the candidate where you were to vote for. Even if the candidate from PUP or independent is a better candidate and it's obvious, you're a UDP, so you're gonna vote UDP, even if that craziness you're against. That is our problem. Party politics. Let me go to the next comment. But you're right, Uncle Tony. Until we arrest and jail them, then things will change. Then we will experience real change. Justice for all Belizeans. He says here, good night. Last night on Daifa Live, the question was asked about whether Dangriga should have a Garifuna era representative. Two questions. What is your take on the Daifa? And the next question is for your guest. Oh, that question is for me. The next question is for your guest. Is your guest familiar with the history of the people who settled and developed Dangriga? I just want to know, since it is not taught in our schools. Oh man. Savia Afiene, I hope you're sleeping. Hope you're sleeping, Mama. Now, I catch a little bit of the not live, the after the live. I watched part of it. Yeah, you're kind of throw me a curveball because it's hard to. Let me read your question again. Last night on Daifa Live, the question was asked about whether Dangriga should have a Garifuna era representative. The question, what is your take on the Daifa? And next question is for your guest. Okay. whether or not Dangriga should have an era representative, a Garifuna era representative. You know, quite frankly, I think it's irrelevant. That's an irrelevant question at the moment. I'm not sure why the topic was chosen. I don't know what the brother's motive is. Charlie Marr, I respect Charlie Marr's mind. Very, very great on history. A brother that I know that I could always call on and depend on for wisdom. However, I don't think that anything warrants that question as to, or that topic as to whether or not Dangriga should have a Garifuna era representative. For me, I would ask a question like that if a Garifuna era representative is in office and just to do a whole lot of craziness. Or at this point, we have an era representative that's not Garifuna, and I'm not going to be careful just to pretend as if though for people not to say that I'm discriminating. We all should know this has nothing to do with discrimination. We have an era representative that is not quite serving us at this moment. We have an era representative who doesn't live among his people. We have an era representative who opened a call center and promised 500 jobs, and in 3 months or so closed down the call center. Why the hell I would think about whether or not a Garifuna should be an era rep? In defense of that, why should I bother? I mean, the topic is just not timely, in my humble opinion. Everybody's opinion is their own. Why should I bother? Whether or not Dangriga should have a Garifuna era rep when we have an era rep in at the house right now that is not properly serving the people, that has broken his promises time after time. When he first ran, he said he only wanted 1 term. He said that. And then he sweeter. And now he run for another term. And a close individual of his looked me in the face and said, oh, Uruwei, the man just want 1 more term. Okay. This is kind of, I don't see the relevance of the topic in our current situation. The situation we are in doesn't call for me to entertain such topic. Before I read the next comment, I guess the next half of the question is yours, Aaron. It says again, last night on Daifa Live, the question was asked about whether Dangriga should have a Garifuna era representative. 2 questions. What is your take? And the next question, this is for you, Aaron. Is your guest, you, familiar with the history of the people who settled and developed Dangriga?
I am definitely familiar with the history that my family played, the role that my family played in developing Dangriga from the 1800s. And so the different stages in development of Dangriga, yes, I am very familiar with that. Unfortunately, justice for all Belizeans is correct. It's not taught thoroughly in our schools, and among the things that I have spoken on with my team, as well as members of clergy and education, I have mentioned that we need to focus more on civics. And we have to know where we came from, how we got to where we are, before we can look at bettering or advancing or whatever term you want to use for the future. But if our youth is coming up with no knowledge of the struggles that each group of people played at their time in the development of Dangriga, then how can we as a society truly appreciate the struggles that were there from day one and that still continue? That's how I would respond to that question.
Thank you, my brother. I want to go to some comments here. Hams Flores. I would like to know why Dangriga should have a Garifuna representative. We need someone who will serve his people. Absolutely, I agree. Of course, we need someone who will serve his people. You know, brothers and sisters, friends, family, I don't want to bring over another man's topic to my show. I don't shy away from anything, but I try to answer as adequately as I possibly can. You know, I don't want to entertain any kind of division whatsoever. I give my take. What I can say as a Garifuna man, the Garifuna people, Garinago, are welcoming. Garinago are giving. Garinago share. Garinago will care for each other. Well, we can be careful about that. The real ones, the sincere ones, and real knows real, because they're not all away, right? We don't want to just bulk every Garifuna person and say Garifuna this, that. However, real know real. When you see a real Garifuna man or a real Garifuna woman with respect, integrity, we look out for everybody. So, with that question, should a Garifuna represent Dangriga? I'm not sure if you guys are asking me to answer or Aaron, but that is debatable. That is debatable. Many Garifuna, I'm sure, would like to see a Garifuna in office. I would like to see a Garifuna in office. I won't be a hypocrite. I would like to see a Garifuna in office. But it's debatable. Let me read another question and then we will carry on. Game International. Which would one prefer? A Garifuna who takes from his people, or a person who supports his people? It's not about being Garifuna. It is the loyalty to the cause that matters. Amen. I believe this is what Mr. Cyril is expressing. Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you for your words. Thank you for your words. You see, I concur. I agree. I don't know if you want to give any words on this before we switch up the pace, Aaron, or if anybody else in the audience have a question.
I believe that if my memory serves me right, we are currently having the first non-Garifuna area rep. And I'm trying to think back and remember if any other person actually ran. I know that when my old man ran in '84, he lost to after Aranda. But I don't know if it really matters. Like everyone else is saying in the chat, what should matter is who can get the job done, the job of Dangrigans done. Because Dangriga, again, man, we have seen the suffering way too long. And we have seen maybe one or two prominent families benefit from no matter who party the in power. And when will we start to see a benefit for all? And that's all I truly care about. All. Not 1, 2, 3, all. We have to move together as one, prosper as one,
You're,
for safety, security, and longevity.
you're right. So let me say this, right? And I like what you said, because I don't want people to get it twisted. I don't want to sound as if though I am disagreeing with you, or I am being racist in any way, shape, or form. Within the context of the current political climax, if we would have a Humphreys, a Francis Humphreys against a Louis Abane, you bet I never may have better run. I could tell you that. We never even have this conversation about whether Garifuna should be era rep. If we may have a Francis Humphreys where they run up against Louis Abane, I promise you, if my old lady have another life, I would have not put my name. I never may have put my name. I never may going against Mr. Humphreys. Because I believe, unless anybody could prove me wrong or speak otherwise, Mr. Humphreys is an honorable man. Mr. Humphreys is a man of integrity. I respect that man. I don't know of anything opposite to, contrary to what I just said. So it is within that context that I'm speaking, within the current political climax. If we had a Francis Humphreys running on March 12th, we're gone. Cyril Uruwei never made in a race. However, now, since I never say a Francis Humphreys, and it's impossible to shy away from the fact that I was the one who ran against Louis, hell yeah, I would have preferred somebody else against over Louis, because I know Louis no care about we. I know for a fact that Louis no care about we. So it is within that context I speak. I want to make myself very clear. Yvette, race should not determine who should represent the people of Dangriga. We are diverse, and based on statistics, the Spanish population outnumber the Garifunas. Additionally, we have had several Garifuna representatives. Have we moved forward? I absolutely agree with you. I absolutely agree with you. One more comment. Yadira, we now live in a diverse community. We have to respect everyone regardless. It's all about what you can contribute to our community. I agree. Again, within the context of the current political climax, that's where my position lies. Okay? So, pressing forward, here is how we're going to end the next. We're going to go an extra. We have about 15 minutes remaining. I would like the audience, invite those of you in the audience. Aaron Anderson is running up for caretaker as a candidate in the United Democratic Party. This is going to take place on October 5th. What questions do you have for Aaron? What questions, what would you like to hear from him? What do you What are your expectations? I would love to hear some of you who are affiliated with the United Democratic Party as well. While you guys are thinking about your questions, if you will enter your question, let's continue. I'll just keep an eye out for the questions. So we are march on from that topic. What's at stake on October 5th? What's at stake?
I think the greatest thing at stake is the rebuilding of a strong democracy. For democracy to exist, you have to have a strong ruling party and a strong opposition. And that's why my slogan for this campaign is reunite, reignite, and reform. Because we have to reunite not only the party and the party faithful who have struggled and suffered through this leadership battle. Even here on this live, question was posed, who do I support? I support Dangriga, if you want to know the truth. So that is one of the biggest things at stake, is our own democracy. Other than that, a vision for a strong community. We all hear the cries every day that our area rep is a non-factor, invisible man. And through that, it actually shows that once again, Dangriga was duped. And we need to show Dangriga who we are and who we were and who we can be again. And that's why the second word is reignite, because we have to reignite that hope, that belief that we are more than what we have been given from all of our past leaders. And then reform. We have to reform our systems, our boundaries, so that we can have better representation. We have to reform our educational system so that we can look at what our strengths are. And that's why I believe in SWOT analysis: strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats. We have to understand that. So we have to reform the way that we approach education from a young age, so that we can start with the next generation building a solid foundation, one that everyone can work within their strengths, and that way we build a community based on strengths and not what an outsider expects from that community. So that to me is what's at stake. Taking care
Very
of
good.
Dangriga.
Thank you. Thank you, Aaron. We have a question from Charles Castillo. How can we help to make the community better? That's for you, Aaron.
Again, I come back to education. We have to, it's almost sad to say that maybe we have to accept where we are today, be frustrated enough to look at what the changes are, and I guarantee we will find it at our youth. And we have to visualize how we bring our youth up. We have to start at the school systems. We have to see how we can strengthen homes, and so we have to look at different employment adventures, different encouraging business ventures, so that everyone can feel like they are a part of what is reforming in Dangriga. And that's how we can all help to make the community better.
Thank you, Aaron. Again, folks, this is your opportunity to ask Aaron Anderson your questions. He's going to be running in the upcoming UDP convention for caretaker for Dangriga, Sarawi, and Hope Creek. We have a comment/question. Susan, congratulations on your candidacy as caretaker for the United Democratic Party. I believe your heart and advocacy are truly with the people of Dangriga, and I wish you every success as you serve and represent them. All right. Thank you for your comment, Susan. Again, for those of you who want to ask Aaron Anderson a question, now is your time. Aaron, we're coming to the end of this show. We have a couple minutes. I want to wrap up, right, by asking you to summarize for me and for our audience your outlook on Dangriga on a whole. What is your outlook on Dangriga, the mindset of the people, the culture? And when I say culture, I don't only mean the Garifuna culture, but the culture in how we interact as a people. What is your mindset and what do you think? I know you pressed on education, which is true. That's always necessary. But what is your outlook on Dangriga, and what is that one thing that you would address immediately if you had the power within you to do so?
My outlook on Dangriga is, and you, from what I gathered, the way you asked that question is, what do I see? I see a frustrated people, frustrated with being given the crumbs, and so I see a proud people, proudful in culture, proudful in what Dangriga is and can be, and so we have to pride ourselves in exactly who we want to be. We have to look ourselves in the mirror and respect not only ourselves but our brothers and sisters to the left, right, front, back. We have a way here in Griga that a lot of people look at some of us coming up, making a way for themselves, and we tend to want to bring them back down. Who does that person think they are? Well, the truth is, push me up and I can help pull you up too. And so that mentality of if they're not for me, they're not for nobody, which is there. I'm not saying it's the only mentality, but it exists. All of it has to stop so that we can move forward together. We have so much potential, and we give it away for $50 to $100 on election day. We have to stop. Know your value, know your worth. It starts with not accepting that payout on election day. And after that,
that's a tough one.
It will be worth it in the long run, because at that point then you can hold those in power accountable. The first thing a politician will tell you if they paid you for that vote is, I give you your money, shut up. Tell me the truth. I've seen it, I've heard it. I've heard the cries of so many people say, that's how we get treated. Well, stop putting yourself in the position to be taken for that. and uplift yourself, your brother, your sister, everybody. That $50 no last long past election day.
Yeah, before I go to the comments, I want to briefly touch on that as well. And but equally dangerous um, are the people who still insist on supporting a certain individual or a political party despite the grave, the obvious flaws. Despite the obvious flaws, that I have a problem with. That is one of the biggest problems. Even the vote, I mean, the voting is a big issue. Buying votes is a big issue. But one of the bigger problems is people who have influence and insist on supporting a certain individual because of party, despite the fact that they know that that individual is not good for the people, that that individual might just serve his own interests and his family and friends' interests. So a lot of the blame goes on individuals, like you call them soldiers, right? You got PUP soldiers, you got UDP soldiers. No matter what, it could be a pig they run up for. If that way the master say that he want run, everybody rally behind her. That's the problem. And I have a lot of friends who I know. Well, I not say a lot of friends, a lot of acquaintance, because I start get careful how I use the word friend nowadays. I have a lot of acquaintance who I know. They know well that an individual is not good for the town, but they go and vote for this individual or support this individual anyhow. And these people carry weight, right? These people are influential. Gwendolyn Alice Martinez, my beloved sister, BT Guyon, my breaking, wishing you all the best. We have always been on opposite sides. My true blue and your red, love. Your heart has always been in the right place about people. That's from Gwendolyn Alice Martinez.
The Martinez threw me off just now.
I'm sorry?
The Martinez threw me off just now.
Yes, Mrs. Martinez.
Yes.
I salute my dear sister. Again, we're wrapping up, folks. We're coming to the end of this show. You still have the opportunity to ask Aaron your questions. Stephanie Anderson. Is this your sister, Aaron? I see the Anderson. Your vote is your voice. Voting is a fundamental way to express your opinions, values, and concerns within a democracy, and to actively participate in the decision-making process that impact your community and country. I like your mother. I like your ma. That's right. That's right, Miss Anderson, Mrs. Anderson. That is right. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for your contribution. It is 9:45. Once we strike 10, we sign off. But if you guys have a question for Aaron, if you have anything you want to add to this conversation as we're getting ready to conclude, this is Dangriga Unmuted. There is a lot happening, folks. There is a lot happening in Dangriga. There is a lot that will be unfolded. There is a lot that will be unfolded. Some new things will happen. New energies will unfold. A lot will happen in Dangriga. Mark your calendar. September 28th. Dangriga Unmuted will be taking it to the streets. We're going live on the streets. There's an event we're preparing. So this is a soft launch. This is a soft invitation. Just keep your eye and your ears open. Look out for the details. In the meantime, Tamara in Manny Katus. All the best to you, Aaron. Man, this takes courage. Absolutely, it does take courage. And I believe in you. She has a heart and say love. Why not a fresh start, people? Yes, why not a fresh start? My brother, I've seen you around for so many months, so many years, like I said. But we haven't rubbed shoulders as much as, or as for as long as I know you. I can only say that I've known you for some months, maybe close to a year now. And you seem like an upstanding brother. You were willing to help me when I needed help. You didn't know much about me, but all that you knew was sufficient. Again, this is not an endorsement, but this is just to say that I respect you as an individual. I believe you are an upstanding brother. I would love to have a conversation with Earth Lopez. You are welcome, my dear, to join in on my platform. My brother Richard Webster, you're more than welcome to come share with the people what you have in mind. Please, again, the brother's name I'm really not familiar with.
Simeon Lorenzo.
Simeon Lorenzo, it's locked in now. My brother Simeon Lorenzo, my platform is open for you. You're welcome. Felicia Richards Hulse, good night and good luck, Aaron Anderson, political aspirant. Brothers and sisters, my time is almost up. I will yield the next minute to my guest, Aaron Anderson, candidate for caretaker for the United Democratic Party. Convention is going to be held on October 5th. Aaron, the mic is yours.
Thank you again for having me. I want to quickly wheel back on something you said about people with influence. And typically in our society, those people with influence, those individuals get put into those positions by those same elected officials to do exactly that, continue to influence. That's why you call them soldiers, quote unquote. When we knowing that that person might not be the best person for us. So we settle for a $50 or $100 on election day. And because we believe, honestly, that that's all we're going to get, we have to stop believing that. I will say this. One, Dangriga, we have to unite as one Dangriga. And two, always remember, nobody, not a single soul can make you feel inferior without your own consent. That's all I have. Thank you, Dangriga. I look forward to what's up and coming, and I hopefully will gain, through my hard work, your support on October 5th.
My brother, thank you so much. Dr. Charles Castillo, he said, don't forget about mental health. Absolutely. I'm not sure if you joined the live in the beginning, but I sort of kind of touched on mental health. That is super, super important. It is something that I want to talk about some more. And as a matter of fact, my brother, please, let's keep in touch. I gotta bring you on my show. Let's schedule you in very, very soon. I like to kind of have spaces between these heated political discussions, right? We don't want always to get all agitated and we are passionate people, right? But full of love, full of love. It's not anger, it's passion. So, Sonny Cass, I'm watching from North Carolina. I want to thank each and every one of you. Sonica says, wish you all the best, Aaron. Who else? We look forward to you improving your beautiful country. That's from Karen House Blue. Felicia, I think I read that before already. Lyle Gabriel, from day one, you have always been a realm primo. Fully support you. You got your people, Aaron. You got your people. I feel I mean I'm gonna spread love too, but that you, brother, you didn't like. Brothers and sisters, Abba Isini, one love to each and every one of you. Please remember, be kind to one another. Um, One thing we must understand about anger, whenever you harbor anger and you show anger and bitterness, it's like drinking poison and expect somebody else to die. So let's love each other, right? Let's go out there and just do our best to accomplish whatever it is that we want to accomplish. All we need is focus. I want to big up Garment International. Again, look out for major updates in the upcoming days. Let's see. I don't want to miss any important comments. All the best, my brother. Questions were good. What else do we have? Enjoy this presentation. Thank you, Susan. Thank you to each and every one of you. Blessings to all of you. Have a blessed night. Good night. I love you all. Abba Iseni. Inebese.